From last night, Hornets, Rockets, Chris Paul in the pick and roll drops the no-look to Clint Capella for the easy bucket.
Now, I watch the NBA every night. They getting saucy with these pick and roll passes. Between the legs, like, how can I get it there?
And that one on first glance doesn't look as impressive, but this view right here, when you see what he's doing, oh
yeah, he grabs the ball on the left side, puts his hand on it, and then bounces it to him. Nice.
Raptors, Cavs, Kevin Love hits Jetty Osman in stride with a pinpoint full-court pass.
Like his dad teammate, Wes Unseld, taught him, chest pass, the best in the business, Kevin Love.
See, how tall is Kevin Love? 6'8"?
6'9", yeah.
6'9"? NFL free agency update. John Elway just offered him a 2-year contract. Compete with Flacco for a quarterback spot.
Come on, man. If Jerry West drafted shooting guards like John Elway drafted quarterbacks, and we take him off the logo.
Thunder Jazz, Donovan Mitchell puts Nerlens Noel on skates before drilling from deep.
Okay,
But that ain't fair to Nerlens. Nerlens is an excellent defender, but he ain't supposed to be way out there with the small people.
But I'm glad he did that, because if LeBron James, he would have tore his groin on that one.
Man.
He's a better athlete. He came out of it.
Same game,
He ain't hurt.
Gobert.
He ain't missing 18 games. I mean, I'm just
Finishing
saying.
with a nasty slam over Jeremy Grant.
Couple Utah highlights for a game that was a low light for them. They're now 8th in the standings all of a sudden. 8 seed Utah as the Spurs and Clippers keep winning games. Rudy Gobert, though, quietly, we never talk about him. Great defensive player, has gotten better offensively. Magic Johnson probably wouldn't want him neither.
Because he can play basketball. To the Lakers now, the season that was supposed to be, LeBron and good shooters around him, has really just been LeBron and other humans. Most of the free agents which Magic Johnson signed this offseason haven't really gelled with LeBron. According to reports, Magic ignored the requests of Lakers coaches to retain Brook Lopez and Julius Randle, both of which now thriving on other teams. Instead, he added Michael Beasley, Lance Stevenson, and JaVale McGee. Nick, you think Magic is in a little over his head?
I don't overreact.
Is this your pump the brakes?
I just don't. Listen, the plan always was a 2-summer plan, so let's see how this summer goes. Obviously, after they signed LeBron, the moves they made last summer were bad moves, were the wrong moves. Now, I defended them then, and I will defend them now. They could not re-sign Julius Randle. He wanted a multi-year deal. He wanted a player option. He got that from New Orleans. And if they would have given that to him, you're going to say, oh, well, he's going to opt out. Maybe. But if he were to suffer an injury, you would be, if you give anyone a multi-year deal, then you are out of the free agent game. So the Julius Randle thing, that is revisionist history. And in my opinion, these are some coaches that know they're probably getting fired, because the whole staff's going to probably get fired.
Nick, before you continue on with the story, did you know about this before this became public?
I mean, yes.
Because you're the first person that ever told me about this. I know that right now there's a report out, but there were people in the NBA and NBA circles that knew of this story. Were they just holding it until...
Well, I think that, here's what I think. I think that Luke Walton and his staff have played good soldier, and to their credit. I also think that they know that people can play the leak game in the media or in front offices as well as anybody. And when Luke Walton could be fired mid-season, leaking out information that it would make you look good in a moment but would not sit well in the front offices, that might be a quicker way to get fired mid-season, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But now it's a wrap. We know that Luke's going to finish the season. We know he's going to get fired. And so I understand why you would say, hey, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. I wanted to keep these guys. Now, the Julius Randle stuff, they shouldn't have kept him. It was the right shooter this year, but he shot 5.5 threes a game 3 years ago. Well, 2 years ago it was 4.5. This year it's 6.5. He was 35% or better every year. We saw LeBron with Channing Frye excel. And Brook Lopez was $3.5 million. You gave JaVale $2.5 million. So that is one that you could look back and say, why didn't you keep Brook Lopez? Milwaukee got him for 1 year, $3.5 million. If you could match that and keep him. So that's a fair criticism. But this is, I think you're going to hear a lot more things like this, see. More. But here's how I would have done things. Because when things go poorly and people are going to lose their jobs, even if you can't save your job, you want the next employer to know, well, it wasn't on me. In fact, I knew better than this.
There's a lot of finger pointing, and a lot of different names are going to pop up of who really should be to blame for what's happened to the Lakers. So all the attention now points to this offseason with this organization. How much, CC, of what happens in this offseason is going to determine whether or not LeBron James was a success with the Lakers?
Well, it's all building steps. Like, we can't forget when LeBron signed, he was like, let's be patient. All right? Like, and Nick, you've pointed this out through the year. They couldn't overreact because then that would have taken them out of the max market where they couldn't add another max player. And that was one of the things at the trade deadline. They didn't end up signing a bad deal. Now, they didn't make any trades that end up helping the team the way that they needed it, but they didn't take themselves from getting someone like Kawhi, Kyrie Irving, or the other guys, Kemba, the guys that will be available this summer. So we know that there would be, let's be patient. But, man, we can't be patient no more than that.
No.
Like, LeBron's there for 4 years, but Magic's not. And Magic got there before LeBron. So him and Rob Pelinka, and they should have pressure on him. I mean, Rob Pelinka, he's a basketball agent, taking over the Los Angeles Lakers with Magic Johnson. And I know people would like to appropriate, man, what you did on the field, on the court, but in the front office. But we've had more people fail at that than we've had be successful. So there should be a tremendous amount of scrutiny on people doing that. John Lynch, what he's trying to do in San Francisco, tremendous amount of pressure on him. These jobs are very, very difficult, but this is the year for Magic. Like, I don't believe will he be there in year 3? If it doesn't work out next year as far as getting a big-time free agent and they're not one of the top 4 seeds in the Western Conference, what has he done to bring basketball? Now, he said, if I don't get this done, I'll fire myself. Well, okay, be careful what you say.
There's 2 ways, tried and true, to build a basketball team in the modern NBA. One is luck out in the draft, get the superstar, and build around him brilliantly. That's what Milwaukee's trying to do right now, by the way. Milwaukee got Giannis, developed Giannis, and they knew they weren't going to be a major free agent destination. We got to trade for Eric Bledsoe and then sell him on it and get him to extend. We have to develop. We have to get Malcolm Brogdon in here when he's undervalued elsewhere, and wins Rookie of the Year and turns into a real player. We have to find value from Tony Snell when other teams don't. Like, that's one path. The other path, and that path involves, you got to have really, really smart, analytical people that are in the weeds, that are saying, hey, guess what, Brook Lopez, the Lakers aren't using him right. He can shoot even more threes. He can unlock our spacing of our offense. The other path is just star hunt. Right? I'm going to go get this star, I'm going to get this star, and the rest will figure itself out. That's been the Lakers' path. When you hire an agent and a legend as your front office people, none of them are the guys saying, well, actually, this guy's box score plus minus is not. No, it is, we will use the power of our city, of our name, and our reputation to bring in superstars. This summer, they landed the superstar of all superstars. Will that follow?
But he did drive to the front lawn.
Well,
all they had to do was open the door and
they just had to say, okay.
That's the other aspect of it. It's totally correct. Is that how much does LeBron go to the Lakers if no matter who the GM is, right? Is that if Mitch Kupchak's still the GM, does he go to the Lakers? Probably.
Yes.
But we don't hold that against you. But can you get another guy that will determine whether or not they can compete for a championship?
And last week, Chris Broussard sat here and said, yes, Magic was in front of LeBron's house, but why wasn't Rob Pelinka in OKC where they end up convincing Paul George, or they end up throwing a party that night for the team, him and Russ, to be able to celebrate? Why weren't they working together in that? Because do they have that pool? We know LA has the pool. We know the Lakers have the pool. But does Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson and their relationships throughout bring players there?
Nick, what's the big sell right now for a free agent coming up this offseason? Is it still going to be playing with LeBron? Is it the organization? I mean, is it LA, the city?
I think it's the totality of all of it. Like LeBron said, LeBron's always been LeBron, right? And he said it was harder to get guys to come to Cleveland than to Miami. And so LA is better than both spots if you don't care about the state tax aspect of it. It's the organization that the Lakers, prior to 5 years ago, had missed the playoffs 5 times in the history of the organization since they were the Minneapolis Lakers. Now they're going to miss the playoffs 6 years in a row. It's the city. It is the ability to compete for championships, and it's LeBron. It's all of the above. Can that, though, trump what they're trying to put together in the same city with the Clippers? And I saw last night Kyrie Irving spent more time talking glowingly about Doc Rivers than I've heard him talk about anyone recently. Like the Clippers and their legend at GM, or team president, whatever his title is, Jerry West, has a track record of knowing how to do this, a track record of success in building basketball teams. So it's not going to be easy, but I still believe the Lakers are going to get somebody, a wingman for LeBron this summer. We're not quite sure who it is at the moment.
All right, speaking of quarterbacks who might have been overpaid yesterday, coming up, did the Jaguars do just that for Nick Foles? That's next on First Things First. See what I did there?
I don't. I was